everybody, hope you're having a great Aloha Friday. I'm here in the Hauula area, drove all the way over here, gassed up the car because I want to eat at Papa Ole's. Heard that they're closing down, but I heard something else. Let's confirm this news and go walk over there and have some awesome food. Okay, like I said in the beginning, the word on the grapevine was that Papa Ole's was going to close down their shop, not because they're not popular. Obviously, they make a lot of money and the line is very long. It was more towards leasing issues. They were going to close on December 23rd. That was going to be their last day. So I'm like, I got to get here because they make the best Pulehu ribs. The next one I enjoy, I wouldn't score them one or the other. It's just I both enjoy them, would be Helena's Pulehu ribs. And they make awesome food. And I'm like, I got to go, even though it's a long ways from home, just to get my last bite before they close. They had a plan of doing a food truck, but after ordering my food today, the friendly sister in the front told me some really good news. They have renewed their lease for 1 more year. Nothing is guaranteed after that, but at least we can enjoy their food for another year. Don't take certain businesses for granted because even though they're popular, they might lose their lease or they might have issues with it. So always enjoy the food if you do really like a particular restaurant, because you just never know what may happen. So I was going to get some breakfast items, but I just didn't want to get too much food. It is very tempting to. I was going to get some nut pancakes as well, but I just stuck with some Pulehu ribs, so it'll be simple today. I don't have 2 plate lunches, and their famous peanut butter roll, which I'll show you at the end. So this is what the plate looks like. It's a large. You can get minis. They are quite expensive for this particular dish because they are thick cut ribs though. And you get 2 scoops rice and mac salad. So let's dig in. I am hungry. You can see how thick the ribs are. Each rib is cut really thick like this. Pretty much a kalbi rib, but it's got a good flavor to it. All right, cheers. It's just a simple Hawaiian salt taste to it. I'm not going to show me wrangling with it. It isn't the tenderest of meat. It's got a nice chew and you got to kind of pull, but it's so flavorful. It has a nice grilled flavor. I don't know how to explain it unless you've had it before. Have it with some rice. Just an old school kind of grilled rib. Cooked really nice. And it has such a high fat content that it really has a nice flavor, and it almost reminds me of a great steak at a high-end fancy steakhouse, to be honest. This is definitely not a place you would take a date, because you're going to have to go Neanderthal caveman and just bite into it and frickin' wrangle it with your teeth, because it is so good though. Now I'm kind of regretting it. I should have got the big J's plate. It's the same thing except it comes with shrimp. I should have got some shrimp, but here's the mac salad. Kind of on the wet side, but pretty good in flavor. It's al dente. It's a simple salt and pepper type of mac salad, no oniony taste or anything. And it's also got a bit of shredded carrot in there too. And I will say the rice is cooked really perfect for me. It's not mushy, falls apart. Each grain is individual and it's not dry at all. So good to chase it down with rice, with the Pulehu ribs. And I will say, even though it's expensive for a plate lunch, for the regular anyway, I got 7 pieces of this thick rib meat. So, I mean, you're kind of getting what you're paying for. It's very thick cut, almost tastes like a very nice fatty ribeye. And I don't know if you heard that slight crunch when I bit into that particular piece, because this one has a nice thin bark from the grill, the nice char. It just crunched. Then when you get into the middle, it's fatty, nice, juicy meat. So just a different combination of textures makes their Pulehu short ribs the best. If you were to compare this one to Helena's, I would say this one is a simple, pretty much just Hawaiian style Pulehu rib, just Hawaiian salt, and that's it. No fancy soy marinade. I don't like that kind of stuff. But with Helena's, they do use like a soy-based marinade, but it's the same thing. There's no other weird things in there, such as sesame seed oil and all that junk. It's just a salt-based kind of marinade, and that's what makes it simple and good. If you're into steaks, you'd probably understand what I'm saying. If you're really into a good steak, most steak people will just put salt on it, or salt and pepper. They don't put garlic powder. They're not going to drench it in A1 sauce. They just want that salt grilled steak, and that's what this tastes like. Just pure in its form, and you can really taste the flavor of the meat. All in all, simple, looks plain, but I'm telling you, if you've never had it, definitely go out and get some, and you won't be disappointed if you are a beef lover or a steak lover. And the reason it's so expensive is they do use short ribs, but the reason being is probably because of its fat content, and it's got different textures. When you get near the bone, there's a little bit of that tendon, and it's kind of crunchier. But I like that. I like it in kalbi as well. Same cut of meat as kalbi, but thicker. And you know, if you were to buy kalbi on your own, just raw short rib meat, if you go to Costco, Sam's Club, or any place else, Times, whatever, you know that cut of meat is expensive anyway, and that's probably the reason why this is one of the higher priced items on their plate lunch list. And if you're not into spending that much money, or you're not a person that likes beef, they have other regular plate lunches such as garlic chicken, beef stew. They have breakfast such as pancakes. They have banana, plain, and mac nut. Local mocos, steak and eggs for breakfast. And another thing that a lot of people don't know, they open early, but they sell lunch at all hours. They're only open for a short period of time, but breakfast ends at 11, but you can order lunch whenever. They do give you utensils and a knife and everything if you're dainty and you want to cut it into small pieces. But another tip is, if you're coming here and you don't live on this side, bring some little individual floss or toothpicks, because it'll get stuck in your teeth. Also, it does take about 20 minutes for each order to be made. If you have a bigger order, such as some people had 5 to 6 plate lunches in their bag, ordering for coworkers or family members, that's going to take longer. And if it is super busy, when I went, there was only 2 other people that ordered before me, and they were sitting on the bench waiting for their order to be made. It took me 19 minutes on the dot. I looked at my watch, and 19 minutes, not bad. It doesn't feel that bad if you have your phone and you're looking and keeping yourself busy. If you really don't want to wait, you can call it in. However, on this side of the island, my cell phone doesn't really get reception. So that's kind of a con. Depends on your cell phone provider. But definitely call it in if you don't want to wait, and it should be ready. If you want to see a little bit of it, I just started filming this. It wasn't the greatest, but we went with Miss Fina and our friend, I think, Crystal. We went to the North Shore, and this was one of our stops. It was one of the very first videos I made, and we also enjoyed the food. That was more towards, I want to say, dinner time. That was when they were open a little bit longer than they are now, because that was before COVID, I think. So now they changed their hours. They close at 3 p.m., so they close very early. I'll put the hours and the location in the description box below. But at that time, it was packed, and you could actually go inside and order, and there was a couple of seats you could sit inside. Now it's totally blocked off, and you can't go inside to eat. There's a couple of benches outside to eat, but you just kind of stand at a table right at the doorway and put your order in with the employee. Super friendly people, really, really nice and polite and really friendly, so you won't have any problems with them there. All right, up next is their famous peanut butter rolls. Some days they have pani popo. I was really wanting to have some because I love pani popo, if you don't know. But today, never have. But every day they have their famous peanut butter rolls. So let's try them. So that's the rolls that are homemade with their homemade peanut butter sauce. Look at all that gooey, luscious, silky peanut butter sauce. Okay, I don't want it to get too messy. I would usually just grab it, but I don't want to get messy in my car. Let's just take a piece. Here it is, nice and fluffy roll. Soak it in some peanut butter. You know me, I don't like sweets. But this is just perfect. It's not too sweet. It's just a nice, nutty sauce, and they give plenty sauce, so you can dip all you want in there. Go to town. And the way they bake it is so fluffy and just so light. It just like melts in your mouth. It's not a dense dough at all. Hopefully you can see all the yeast bubbles, which make a bread light and fluffy. That's how light and fluffy their buns are. You get 2 buns with 1 order. And if you're a fan of Reese's peanut butter cups, this is it. That's what it tastes like, except no chocolate, but just that inside of that peanut butter cup, which is my favorite part of the candy. And it's more peanutty than anything. It's not very sweet. There's a tinge of sweetness, but it's not like a typical dessert where it's just so sweet. And that's what I don't like about most desserts. This is just pure peanut flavor, and it's so creamy. There's no chunkiness in it. So it's just smooth and silky, and that bread just sops all of that flavor up. It's just the weirdest combination, but it totally works. And so that is Papa Ole's. They are closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And if you're retired or you don't work or you have odd days off that aren't just the weekend, definitely come here right at opening early. They open at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you can get your fill of lunch because they'll make it early. Just breakfast is stopped at 11. And I hope you enjoyed me revisiting Papa Ole's. I didn't give it too much attention at the North Shore video because we did a whole bunch of stops, but it is great food. I'm telling you, if you've never tried it before, you've got to make the drive down here. It's in a shopping center with Long's Drugstore right next to the Domino's, so there's plenty of parking. It is also the same place I went to Gordo's Prime Rib. Unfortunately, he was an older man, so I don't know if he stopped making it because he's retired or what, but that food truck is no longer there. And again, don't take your local businesses or restaurants for granted, even though they're doing well, because Papa Ole's really does well. There's always a line. Tourists come here. They wait to visit here, to eat here. And even though they're making a lot of money and doing well, it could be leasing issues and whatnot that can really shut a business down. So I am so glad to hear the good news that their lease is back, at least for a year anyway. And from there on, they can probably plan on where they're going to go next. So hopefully you have a great weekend. If you enjoyed this, press the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again next week on another food adventure. Take care, peace out, have a great day. Bye.